Question, the member from Thornhill.
Thank you very much, Speaker. And back to the Premier. Ontario families agree with the experts. They watch helplessly while Premier McGuinty spends $2.1 million more every hour of every day than he collects in revenue and adds more and more to the debt he will leave our children. That's not how they run the family budget. Why is it how you run the provincial budget?
I'm having to restrain her, Speaker.
You're teasing me, Premier.
Speaker, my colleagues, again, I appreciate the question from my colleague opposite. You know, there was a specific opportunity that we gave the official opposition to show their true colours when it comes to managing government expenses. We said that we wanted to cut the price of generic drugs in half.
Oh, where were you?
We wanted to save Ontario taxpayers $500 million. That would go to the bottom line, Speaker. We gave them the opportunity to support our government, more importantly to support Ontario families and taxpayers. Speaker, you know there are more than 1 million Ontarians that pay for their generic drugs out of pocket. They don't have a plan of any kind, Speaker. And when push came to shove, Speaker, they decided they were not going to stand with Ontario families. They were not going to stand with Ontario taxpayers. They decided to stand with big money, Speaker. So once again, there's a revelation, an occasional revelation, but important revelation as to where the real priorities lie.
Supplementary.
Here, what the Premier doesn't understand is that Ontario families need a chance to catch up. But what Premier McGuinty and his team sincerely believe is that Ontario families have some infinite ability to pay for all of his expensive experiments, which is why he did not stop Disney cast members training LHINs on quality service, Credit Valley Hospital in Mississauga from converting a garage to an emergency room, ultrasounds for dogs in Peterborough Hospital, $7,800 for a hospital consultant's vacation in Japan, Christmas luncheons and bonuses for health consultants, and dinner and drinks for hospital consultants. What makes you think Ontario families should have to pay for all the cheats you simply will not stop?
He's laughing.
Premier, the Minister of Economic Development and Trade.
Thank you, Speaker. I think what's important today
Order. Order. Minister.
Thank you, Speaker. I think it's important to note that yesterday we sat with members opposite an Estimates Committee. We had an opportunity to talk about the Ontario economy. And I think what was so informative for all of us is that the members of the official opposition actually agreed that the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade is doing a tremendous job in selling Ontario to the world. And they said openly, we agree that when we showed examples at committee yesterday of the kind of innovation that the Ontario government partners with our Ontario companies to create this kind of innovation and take it to the world, this particular member, my official critic, said, we agree. I think that should speak loudly to the people of Ontario that want good jobs so that they can afford to live in the lifestyle that they choose. But that member opposite needs to be on.
Thank you. Final supplementary.
Yesterday, the minister did agree that she's the grande dame of the theatre. I wanted to tell you that. Ontario families need a chance to catch up. But what this Premier offers them when he backtracks on his expensive energy experiments is to take $1 billion from their own pockets to pay them a hydro bribe. Only an out-of-touch.
Ask the honourable member to withdraw the comment he just made.
I withdraw that. Only an out-of-touch Premier as this one would think that because the deficit is $19 billion instead of $20 billion, he has $1 billion to play with. It's kind of like a guy who's overdue on his rent, has maxed out his credit card, owes his friends and family money, but when he finds $50 in an old jacket, he goes out and blows it on a round of beer for his buddies. You wouldn't put up with a friend who acts that way. What makes you think Ontario families should put up with it from a Premier?
Minister.
I think Ontario families.
Buy a round of beer. This guy's a real Johnny Carson. Another round. More beer. Another round and say hi. Have another
member from Hamilton East, the member from Lanark, member from Halton, the member from Durham, member from Lanark. Minister.
Thanks, Speaker. I think what's really important is that people are going to want to know, and they will hear this afternoon, that in fact our deficit is going to come out 25% lower than what we anticipated. And even these members opposite are going to say that that's good news for Ontario, that's good news for Ontario families, and that this individual whose critic he is my official critic for the economy here in Ontario, we're going to say that small businesses are going to look forward to the kinds of support that they've been seeing, that they in fact have received checks since last week to support them through the transition when we change a tax policy that helps small business, that we're seeing a 20% decrease in the corporate income tax for small business. Surely that member opposite has to support this. My big question today is going to be, when they hear what is in that economic statement today, will that party support the government position that is going to see clear help, not just for everyday people?
Thank you.